The US dollar has maintained its status as the world's dominant currency for decades. Despite challenges from other currencies and the rise of digital payment systems, the dollar continues to be the preferred medium of exchange, store of value, and unit of account globally. This dominance is rooted in a combination of historical, economic, and political factors that have solidified the US dollar's place at the forefront of global finance. In this video, we will explore the top 10 reasons the US dollar remains dominant on the global stage. 1. The strength of the US economy. The US economy is the largest and one of the most diversified in the world, contributing significantly to the dollar's strength. As the world's largest consumer market and a key driver of global trade, the demand for US dollars remains high. The dollar benefits from the size, stability, and innovation of the US economy, making it the currency of choice for international transactions and investments. 2. U.S. government debt and treasury bonds. The U.S. government issues a vast amount of debt in the form of treasury bonds, bills, and notes, which are considered some of the safest investments in the world. Investors around the globe buy U.S. Treasury securities as a way to park their money in a stable and reliable asset. These securities are denominated in U.S. dollars, which creates a consistent demand for the currency. Additionally, the U.S. government's ability to issue debt in its own currency gives it an advantage over other nations, helping to maintain the dollar's dominance. 3. Global trade and commodities pricing. The U.S. dollar is the primary currency used in global trade, particularly for commodities like oil, gold, and other natural resources. This system, known as the petrodollar system, requires countries to purchase these commodities in dollars. As a result, nations need to hold large reserves of US dollars to engage in trade and secure resources. This widespread use of the dollar in international trade keeps demand for it high, solidifying its position as the global currency of choice. 4. The dollar's role as a reserve currency. Central banks around the world hold a significant portion of their foreign exchange reserves in US dollars. The International Monetary Fund, IMF, estimates that about 60% of global reserves are denominated in dollars. This makes the US dollar the world's primary reserve currency, a key reason for its continued dominance. Countries accumulate dollars to facilitate international trade, stabilize their own economies, and diversify their foreign reserves. The dollar's widespread use in global reserves ensures its ongoing importance in the global financial system. 5. The stability of the U.S. political system. The political stability of the United States is another crucial factor that reinforces the dominance of the U.S. dollar. Investors and governments around the world feel confident holding U.S. assets, including dollars, because of the country's relatively stable political environment, democratic institutions, and well-established legal system. This stability attracts foreign capital and reinforces the trust that the US dollar will remain a reliable store of value and unit of exchange. 6. The US dollar's liquidity. The US dollar is one of the most liquid currencies in the world. Liquidity refers to the ease with which an asset can be bought or sold without significantly affecting its price. The depth and breadth of the US financial markets, including the stock and bond markets, make the dollar highly liquid. Investors can quickly convert US dollars into other assets or currencies, making the dollar the preferred currency for global transactions. This liquidity also makes it easier for businesses and individuals to conduct transactions, whether domestically or internationally. 7. US dollar-dominated financial infrastructure. The US dollar's dominance is supported by the extensive financial infrastructure that operates primarily in dollars. The world's largest banks, payment systems, and international financial institutions use the dollar for cross-border transactions, trade finance, and foreign exchange markets. Institutions like the SWIFT network, which facilitates international payments, are heavily reliant on the dollar. This widespread adoption of the dollar in the global financial infrastructure reinforces its continued dominance in international finance. 8. U.S. military power and global influence. The global presence of the U.S. military plays a role in maintaining the dominance of the dollar. The United States has military bases around the world, which gives it geopolitical influence. Countries often align with the U.S. for security reasons, and in return, they engage in trade and economic transactions that are typically conducted in U.S. dollars. This combination of economic and military power creates a strategic advantage for the dollar and encourages nations to continue using it as their primary currency for trade and reserves. 9. The dollar's role in investment and global capital markets. The U.S. dollar is the primary currency in global capital markets. U.S. stocks, bonds, and other financial instruments are highly attractive to both domestic and international investors due to the size and stability of the U.S. economy. As a result, foreign investors purchase U.S. assets, which requires them to convert their currency into dollars. The continued inflow of foreign investment into U.S. markets further supports the dollar's dominance in global finance. 10. Lack of viable alternatives. While there have been efforts by other countries to challenge the U.S. dollar's dominance, including the rise of the euro and the Chinese yuan, no viable alternative has emerged to challenge the dollar's position. The euro, for example, is limited by the political and economic instability within the European Union. The yuan, while growing in importance, lacks the same liquidity, transparency, and global acceptance as the US dollar. Until another currency can replicate the US dollar's combination of liquidity, stability, and global acceptance, the dollar is likely to remain the dominant global currency. The US dollar's global dominance is the result of a combination of factors, including the strength of the U.S. economy, the dollar's role in international trade, the stability of the U.S. political system, and the liquidity of the U.S. financial markets. While other currencies may continue to grow in importance, the U.S. dollar's deep-rooted presence in the global financial system and its widespread use in trade, investment, and reserves ensure that it will remain the dominant currency for the foreseeable future. Understanding the reasons behind the dollar's continued supremacy is crucial for anyone involved in global trade, investment, or finance.